Hi, welcome back to the second class of number system. So last time, if you remember, we have talked about a rational and a irrational number, and we said a number which can be represented in a p by q form is a rational number, while the number which cannot be represented in a p by q form is an irrational number. Today, let's focus on let's move ahead and let's focus on two new topics. The first one is even and odd numbers, and the second one is prime and composite. Now, even and odd numbers, when you talk about even number, odd number, I think every one of you knows that an even number is one which is divisible by 2, and odd number is one which is not divisible by 2. So that's a very simple definition of an even and odd number. But when it comes to cat, obviously he will not ask you simply that he gave you 24 and he will ask you whether it's a even or not. What happens is they talk about few operations within even and odd numbers. So let's focus on what are the different operations which you can have in even odd number, and we'll also talk about certain questions which came from this particular area. So let's say if I talk about an even number, there are a few things which you have to keep in mind. The first thing is, if I add even plus even number, what do you get? Now for this, make it simple, which you normally do, right? What you are doing right now in your mind is 2 plus 4 gives you 6. So yes, it gives you an even number. If I add an even number thrice, let's say even plus even plus even, would you get an even number or an odd number? Again, you get an even number. You do a 2, 4, 6, you add them, comes out to be 12. So that makes it an even number. But if I do the same thing with odd number, let's see what happens here. Odd plus odd, 1 plus 1 will give you not an odd number this time, but an even number. 1 plus 1 is 2. So you will say it's an even number. If I do odd plus odd plus odd, then it becomes 1 plus 1 plus 1, which gives you 3, which is an odd number. So what is happening? You need to see this. Whenever I add 2 odd numbers or I add 4 odd numbers, let's say, you end up getting an even number. Simply 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 4 times, you get a 4, which is an even number. Now what you have to see is, whenever you add an odd number even number of times, you always end up getting an even number. So all these results will pertain to an even number. But when you add an odd number of times, so maybe 3 times you add an odd number, odd plus odd plus odd, or you do an odd plus odd plus odd plus odd plus odd plus odd, that means 5 times, you end up with an odd number. So these are the operations which are very important. You need to understand these, because when it comes to cat would not give you very simple questions around this. You have to think more about this particular thing. So let's say let's do a multiplication here. Let me take it a little above so that we can do a multiplication here. Let's talk about an odd number multiplied with an odd number. So 1 into 3 will give you odd. Odd number multiplied thrice. Let's say 3 odd numbers you are multiplying. 1 into 3 into 1 gives you again a 3. So odd. But the moment I introduce one even number in this, even into odd, it becomes even. So whenever, even with a series of odd numbers, you just multiply one more even number, it becomes an even number. I'll give you one example which came in cat, one of the question. So what they said was, there is a number n, which you get after doing this operation, a into b plus c divided by d. So when you do a into b plus c divided by d, and you have to find out whether n would be an even number or an odd number. So we have to clearly find out whether this n becomes an even or an odd number. What you do is, and they had also given in a question. So this question also had that b and c are, and in fact a are your odd numbers, while d is an even number. So this was all given there. Now what you do here is, if I try to write it, it is odd into odd plus odd divided by even. Now if you see this summation will give you an even number, and when this even number would be multiplied with this odd, it will end up giving you an even, and you get an even here. Now think about a situation. Now this can end up in two ways. If I take b and c as 1 and 1 and a also as 1, it becomes 1 into 2 divided by, let's say, d is also 2, so it becomes 2 by 2, which becomes 1. But if I take b as let's say you take b as 3 and c as 1, and you take a as 1, it becomes 4 by 2. That means it could be odd, it could be even. Now even by even, you are never sure. So it can be even, can also be or odd. So there was a third option which was given there, which said either even or odd. That's an answer. Thank you.